Hey, Werner here with the Daily BA. Today I want to cover one of the most useful tools for myself when it comes to just dealing with stress, anxiety, those sort of things. Let's jump into it.
Go inside and meet yourself. You might find there's no one home.
When I was in graduate school for behavior analysis, it was the first time that I really felt anxiousness from the workload, to the point that I couldn't get everything done and it would get in the way. My thought process essentially was getting in the way. But I found one resource that really helped me, and I wanted to share that with you today. But first, a little bit of history and context, a sort of lesson. Throughout the 1960s and 70s, the world of the hippie, free spirit thinking, radical social change.
In May of 1970, 4 students were killed by National Guard troops during a campus protest at Kent State University in Ohio.
Experimental drug use and more swept across the United States. And around this time, there was a training seminar that showed up led by Werner.
I am committed to that there is something about which human beings are unaware, the awareness of which would transform life for human beings.
There's actually a fantastic documentary at transformationfilm.com, one that I had actually seen on Netflix years ago when I was first learning about this. It's fantastic, check it out. And it was covering what had become known as Est training, these Erhard seminar trainings. And in short, it was founded in 1971, offered a 2-week, 60-hour course officially known as the Est Standard Training. The seminar aimed to, I quote, transform one's ability to experience living so that the situations one had been trying to change or had been putting up with clear up just in the process of life itself. It also seemed a little bit more like what I saw that was out there when it comes to folks that are motivational speakers, such as the Tony Robbins and the like. And look, I don't discredit these approaches, but they didn't feel right for where I was. I wanted something rooted a little bit more in scientific thinking. And around this time is when I was actually introduced to a behavior analytic perspective, specifically what is now known as a third wave cognitive behavioral therapy. And it's called ACT, said as one word, acceptance and commitment therapy. And I'll quote here again, the objective of ACT is not elimination of difficult feelings. Rather, it is to be present with what life brings us and to move towards valued behavior. Acceptance and commitment therapy invites people to open up to unpleasant feelings and learn not to overcorrect them, not to avoid situations where they are invoked. Its therapeutic effect is a positive spiral where feeling better leads to a better understanding of the truth. And this truth is really measured through the concept of workability, or what works to take another step towards what matters. This individualized approach, something that would fit in a goal-setting framework, is what I really enjoyed about it. It would fit my needs. And while all of these gurus have strategies that can work, clear methods that can improve your life, what was missing from my perspective was really 2 things. This open sharing of what was going on, because they were always locked down into their way of thinking and to go to their training, and also refinement, changing over time, adapting to what the data was saying, what was working and what wasn't working. Said another way, experimentation and evidence-based approaches were lacking, and these go hand in hand and allow for further refinement of what was working. What I liked about ACT was this actual approach. Scientific approach was built in. State what it is that you're trying to work towards, deploy methods that have been shown to work with others in the past through research, see how they work for you, and then move forward. Rinse, repeat. The method I chose to really apply this was through a workbook. And there's 2 strategies that I thought were really useful for myself. First was value clarification exercises. They work you through trying to figure out what is important to you, what it is that you want to move towards. On the other side are these self-awareness sort of exercises, trying to figure out in the moment, are you moving towards the things you want to, and how do those relate to your goals and your values? Essentially, these were ways to raise my awareness of times I was focusing too much on my thoughts and not on the actions that would lead to a valued lifestyle. And look, I can't teach you these, I'm just not comfortable training them, but I do encourage you to learn more. And I have some free resources, cheaper resources for you to consider. But first, just a quick wrap up. Est training is still very much alive. It's now called Landmark. And I admit that I'm biased. I haven't gone in to learn as much as I possibly could, but I do encourage folks to do that. What's worked well for me since those early days of graduate school can be found in this $10 workbook, which has been shown to help some, but not everybody, in its workbook format. For more learning, check out the links down below. Serious mental health struggles, I've included a link for that as well. That's your Daily BA.
Responsible but no control. So many choices, but no free will at all. Your decisions are selected from a long, long time ago, by circumstances you can hardly know.